All the way from Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to Outlander Cast. It's a podcast dedicated to the show Outlander on Stars.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone, sacred that lass be I. Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake. I'm Marvin. It's been a long few weeks in House Larson. Holy smokes.
In case you can't hear, guys, that's a cough, and you're going to hear that occasionally in this podcast episode. But I'm coughing a lot less than I had been.
Oh, my God. Before... See, for those of you who don't know, Mary had the flu. Actually, my whole family has had the flu.
It's still here.
Except me. Thank God. But Mary had some kind of something going on with her breathing and her lungs and everything.
It's the flu, man.
It's the flu. And every second or third word, she would go into a coughing fit. And this lasted for 2 weeks.
I just don't have a good immune system, friends. If you've been following Outlander Cast, you know about me. So when I get hit with something, I get hit hard. I had that for the flu shot. Oh, butterbeer.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. You know what? Time out. I'm going to hit pause for a sec. Then we're going to go back. Okay. We're back.
Okay. Butterbeer's out in the bathroom.
Butterbeer's hopefully not going to bark too much anymore. We'll see.
So, yes. So, friends listening in lifetime, this episode has been a long time coming, but we have had the flu here, nonstop. So,
just hasn't ended. But you know what, though, Mary? It's actually been kind of a blessing because it has allowed a lot of people to come in, to comment, to sort through their feelings, and just kind of let it be heard, I think. And it's kind of also given, I think, a lot of people time to just kind of calm down a little bit and just check it out, and is this the right thing? Are we doing all the good stuff here?
So speaking of good stuff, even though Outlander is done, dinna fash Sassenachs. Do not fash, okay? Because we have Blood of My Blood coming up later this summer. And yes, we will be covering that here at Mary and Blake Media. So just hold on tight, Spider Monkeys, because we're gonna keep that going. But in the meantime,
say it.
That's right.
Out loud.
In the meantime, make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube just by searching Mary and Blake. You can also catch up on our other podcasts, like our This Is Us 2 podcast. If you haven't watched The Leftovers, we can't make a plug for that enough because it's such an epic podcast and show. The Living Reminders is our podcast for it, plus all the other blogs and events. And
we're coming back to the Potterverse as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I've been needing some Potter in my life.
I know.
He's been my binky during the flu. So, have you noticed that our little lad who has the flu now, that's what he's been listening to?
Of course.
Audio?
Yeah. That and the Phantom Menace.
Yes. So, on that note,
we're a John Williams family, if you can't tell.
We sure are. All right. So, yeah, let's jump on in.
All right, here we go.
All right.
All right, these comments are coming from jointhenerdclan.com as always. And the first one comes from BG. It's spelled B-E-E-G-I. So BG, I imagine, or I whatevs. I don't know. But thank you for being a member at jointhenerdclan.com. And BG seems to agree with my take, Mary, that the faith diversion here is probably not the best one. And they say, I agree with 100% with Blake. You articulated a lot of what I was struggling with. I thought Season 7B did an extraordinary job of condensing and revising the complex book storylines and did them all justice. But this? It's heavy-handed, pseudo-mystical, and totally unnecessary. It's a shame that everything else this season is being overshadowed
I don't think it
by
is.
this.
I don't think it is, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think it kind of is now. Because all the discussion is about faith, really. And that's it.
I mean, I guess it depends who you're talking to.
Fair enough. All right, Teresa McGuire says, I was watching your podcast when I came up with this possibility. I have a hot take / outlandish theory.
Love it.
Here we go. Maybe, just maybe, they are using the faith story to further tie Outlander to Blood of My Blood. What if Faith ends up being a main character in Blood of My Blood and ends up in contact with Clea's parents? I don't know. It's just my thought theory, hot take, wishful thinking.
Mock me.
Please hang up and try again.
We will find out for sure this summer when Blood of My Blood comes out before Season 8 of Outlander. If I'm right, the Faith story will begin with Blood of My Blood, which comes out before the final season of Outlander. In your podcast, you both kept saying how you didn't want the final season of Outlander to become about solely Faith. If my theory is correct, Season 8 wouldn't become the Faith show. If it happens this way, her story would start with Blood of My Blood and ends with the final episodes of Outlander. I love my Mary and Blake podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
Mary, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that is so friggin' cool. Timing-wise, doesn't make sense. But who the F cares? Because guess what? It's a time traveler show, baby!
You know what? I'm out on it. You want to know why?
Yeah, I'm in. Fine. You could be out. I'm in.
I'm out.
I'm in.
Because then Blood of My Blood becomes required homework. And I don't want to have required homework. I just want to watch Outlander for Outlander.
Maybe it doesn't have to be required homework.
But if the Faith story continues in Blood of My Blood, which I think on paper looks like a good idea.
I bet you they can still do it. I bet you they could do both, where you don't need it. It's just some extra stuff. You don't need gravy on your potatoes.
Okay, fair enough.
Just makes it a little better.
All right, so just as
It's just like novellas.
Just as a disclaimer,
Sure.
okay?
Yeah.
This episode of Mary and Blake's listener feedback for the final episode of season 7.
Yes, Blake?
It's going to be really long. And we got a lot of voicemails. We got a lot of messages. We got emails.
We're even going to let you know an extra special secret. We're not even recording this all in one shot.
Because it's going to be that long.
It's going to be that long. And I can't talk that long.
In the future, you probably already see the amount of time that this is going to be. I still don't know how much that's going to be. It's going to be at least a 2-hour job. At least.
That's what you're thinking?
Guaranteed.
Okay, great.
All right?
Let's do it.
Let's get to the first
you know
voicemail.
What? This is the last one, so people can listen to it in phases.
Breaking all the rules.
Yeah. We're
How
here
it goes.
with you. We're here with you. You know, it could be your morning commute and your afternoon commute. It can be while you're cooking. It
Could
can
be
be
lunch.
at the gym. It could be while you walk the dog. We could even be with you while you go to sleep.
That's true. I mean, it would suck if you fell asleep halfway through.
That's okay.
Then you
That's
lose
what I
all
do.
of our takes.
That's what I do every night. I fall asleep to a book. You know
to
that.
a sleep story. I know.
No, it's not even sleep stories. I fall asleep to stories that I'm trying to actually listen to, but I fall asleep within 5 minutes. So I only get 5 minutes every day.
She gets a page and a half in.
Yeah.
She's out.
Yeah.
Mary can fall asleep anywhere, at any time,
Yep.
in any position.
I don't know what the actual diagnosis. I feel like narcolepsy means you don't mean to fall asleep.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it was like, can you choose to fall asleep?
Yeah.
Check.
And I can't. It takes me an hour and a half just to fall asleep.
Ugh.
It's awful.
I'm pretty sure it has to do with my ADHD because I get bored so quick.
Oh my God.
That I'm like, it'd be better than this. Sleep.
Let's go to sleep, shall we?
I slept so much. We've already told this story, but I fell asleep during my SATs.
Yes, you did.
I finished it.
And she still did better than I did.
Yeah, I finished it.
It's ridiculous.
Took a nap until they said you can move into the next section. Finished the next section. Took a nap.
And me, as I've said before, famously, in the last 10 minutes of the test, I'm trying to go back through all the pages going C, trying to get at least half the questions right.
Can you imagine sitting next to me?
No, I would be so pissed.
Like, what the hell's wrong with this girl?
I would be, oh my God.
Luckily, most of them were my classmates, so they knew. They're like,
Thank
falls
God we
asleep
didn't
in
meet back
physics
then.
every
Thank
day.
God. Oh my God, I would have
AP
roasted
physics
you.
too, and I was
Such a
falling asleep.
dork falling asleep. It's the worst.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, let's get
you know
to
who
the
needs
first
a nap?
one. Who?
Claire.
Claire needs all the
She needs
naps.
a little napski.
I think
This is a lot.
I think Fanny's going to need some naps too. You think Fanny's still in the nap phase?
No.
No.
She's in the like, I don't need a nap. I'm a big girl.
I'm not tired. Rubbing her eyes.
Yeah. Bree wants nap. Bree needs naps.
Bree needs
She's
way
been
more
solo
naps.
parenting.
Oh, fighting off
going
terrorists.
into all the different. Bree needs a nap.
Shooting people with shotguns.
She needs some hot yoga.
time traveling.
Oh my god.
No, you know what she needs? She needs a silence retreat. That's what she needs.
You
Where
now know about those.
I know, now
we
I know.
need to read these comments. You're gonna make it 2 hours.
I'm sorry. Well, we keep talking. You're
For
talking
silent
about how.
retreat. Oh, that's what I want.
Can you imagine if Bree was like, I just need silence, just for like a day? Can we just do that?
Friends, they exist.
They do exist.
I think I'm gonna go on
and
one.
I'm sending Mary on one. Like, despite her reservations about it, she's going because she deserves it. All right, here we go. Here's the first voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Roisin. I've just finished
Hi, Roisin.
watching 100,000 Angels. And Blake, I know you normally do your knee-jerk reaction. This is my tear-jerk reaction.
All right.
Oh.
You got a spin-off.
I just was on an emotional roller coaster that whole episode. Everything was so good. The parents talking to the children that they had to not acknowledge, grandparents not knowing who they're speaking with, Buck and his affection for all of his descendants, and then Master Raymond again thinking about all of his descendants. And then as the music started to play for Jane and then started to play again for Francis and Katrina Balfe at the end, y'all know how much I love Katrina Balfe.
So good. So good.
It's just a tearjerker. 5 stars, 5 lemon cakes, 5 broomsticks, whatever the other gauges are for the other topics.
It's kilts.
I am just blown away. And I'm just really sad we're going to have another Outlander, but I will, as always, look forward to keeping up with whatever Mary and Blake are talking about in our Outlander season. Lots of love from Dublin and Ireland. You take care now. Bye-bye, Slán.
Thank you, Roisin. I really appreciate that. By the way, you can read all of my knee-jerk reactions for Outlander and all the other shows that I've written about over at jointhenerdclan.com, so check that out. Mary, that's the first truly positive comment about the finale that I've heard.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's like, everyone was like, yeah, it was good, but yeah, it was great. However, you know, like there's like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the first like genuinely positive one that I've heard. It's crazy. All right, let's get to the next one.
Hey, this is Angie from Georgia
Angie.
calling about episode 716, the finale. Loved this episode. I'm giving it a 5+.
Wow.
My good
Time out. 5+? This is one of the best episodes of television you've ever seen,
Yeah,
Angie?
let Angie tell us why.
All right, here we go.
good were all the flashbacks,
Yeah.
even of Geneva and the Faith stuff. I loved all of it. My best was all the feels, all the Charmin. I loved the little details like Jamie twitching his hand. I loved like even the part where Rollo passed away. I've recently lost a pet and John Bell's acting was so amazing. I just really loved Sam's acting. I don't know when he's going to get his flowers because his acting was so good in this entire season. My great was actually the end, the twist, how it's going off book. I like that all
Wow.
of us are on the same page now. I really loved the lighting in this episode, especially the Master Raymond part. I thought it was really superb. And I like that we all don't know what's going to happen now. I'm really excited to see what happens to Brianna and Roger and just all of it. I loved it. I think it was one of the best finales of the series. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.
All
Bye.
right, Angie, thank you so much.
I love it. I would agree. It's one of the best finales of the series. We've had a couple of finales where we've been like, whoa.
Yeah, the season.
Some of them also
the season
haven't great.
4 one was not great, Bob. The season 4 was not great at all.
To you.
Yeah. I mean, we're on a talk show here. You know, we got to talk, and that's that. Interesting. That's a second positive comment I've heard.
Look at Blake.
Look
See,
at
you
this.
just needed to listen to the voicemail.
All right, Mary. Why don't you take the next comment from Join the Nerd Clan?
Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph says, "This is Katie." Hold on. Yes. Hold on. Why does it say Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph, and then she says this is Katie?
Well,
Does she go by her middle name?
Well, yeah, Katie is short for Caitlin, you know.
Man, Katie, you throw me off.
You got
so
4
many
first names.
and then you say my name's Katie.
So wait, I always say you never trust a man with 2 first names.
Yeah.
What do you do with a woman with 4 first names?
Let's be real, 5. Because she goes by Caitlin and Katie. Wow, I love it. How
did that even happen?
My brother goes by his middle name, so I'm here for it. I love it.
Were your parents like, hey, guess what we should do? We should give you 5 first names.
Me?
No.
Mary Caitlin Clark
Mary
Joseph?
Caitlin Clark Joseph.
I have 4 names now.
Yeah, but they're not all 4. They're not all first
3
names.
of them are.
That's not true.
Mary Catherine Earl Larson? Yes. Earl is a first name.
Yeah,
just like Clark is a first name.
Earl
Catherine is a
but
first name.
the way that it's spelled, it's clearly
Yeah.
clearly a last name.
I have 4 names just like Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph.
No. 4 first names.
Okay, I have
You have
3
2 first names.
I have
You have
3
2.
first names. It's okay, Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph Katie. I got you. So, Katie from Central Illinois, which is where one of my best friends who introduced me to the Outlander series.
Yes.
She lives in Central Illinois.
Okay.
So Katie from Central Illinois, first time writing in.
All right.
With feedback after so many years of loving your podcasts. I'm a show watcher only, and my kilt rating for this final episode is a 4.74/5.
Okay.
My good. Claire and Jamie being such natural parental figures to so many. It takes special people to love their children and protect them as your own. But I realized when they seemed to love Fanny without hesitation that they had done this many times over. Fergus, Marcelly, Ian, these relationships are some of my very favorites. I would agree, Katie. I love that.
I kind of like that take. That's a good take.
Great. My bad. Brian had some lovely dialogue. Well, I mean, you have to remember too, like, being raised by parents that aren't your biological parents is an ongoing theme of this series.
Absolutely,
You know? So
yeah.
I just really love it.
Yep.
My bad. Brian had some lovely dialogue, especially about his wife Ellen when speaking with Brianna. But it was like the conversation came to a scratching halt every time Brianna said something. He would open his heart to her, and she would respond with a platitude in a tone that was the vocal equivalent of a shrug. I don't blame Sophie's accent entirely, though I did wonder what she would have sounded like to Brian. But I truly think they wrote her dialogue that was simply not up to his. It was like the epitome of a kid trying to get away from an older relative with whom they're bored. The only excuse I can make for it, from a story perspective, was that Bree didn't want to let herself get emotional or give anything away while speaking with him. So she reacted in a neutral monotone and shared nothing of substance herself, despite Brian sharing so much of himself. Blake, you gave me the wicked long one.
All right, I
And
will.
it hurt great.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, Blake.
Okay.
Oh my God. You're like, let me give you the novel.
I'm not saying that I didn't do it purposely.
That wasn't nice.
But I'm not saying it either.
Now you guys know why it took us so long to podcast.
Great.
This is my good version of speaking.
Yeah.
Sorry, Katie.
Caitlin, Mary.
Katie's great. Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph Katie.
Okay. She
Katie's
says,
great.
my great is the chills I got right along with Claire when she heard Fanny singing the song at the end. The time travel sci-fi aspect of Outlander has never been what I thought appealed to me, but I haven't been this shocked or felt my skin crawl in such a good way in so long. I, too, have mixed feelings about this major twist, but the feelings were all there for me. I was frightened and confused and hopeful and crying with Claire. Faith, in quotes, was the most impactful episode of Outlander for me. I can't decide if a surprise twist involving Faith surviving undermined any of the significance or poignancy of that episode for me. I think not, but there is certainly a great deal to think about. My final thought, though, I never fully liked Master Raymond and never trusted him for some reason. I don't know if he seemed too otherworldly or mystical, but I always had the impression he was pulling strings that were far bigger in scope and not fully considering the human impact on the individuals right in front of him. He's like Dumbledore, but without the warmth. Perhaps more Michael Gambon than Richard Harris.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Interesting.
I like it. Oh, did you hear who currently is going to, as of this moment, is in talks to be Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter
I
series?
don't.
It is John Lithgow.
Stop it.
Yeah, John Lithgow. That's the guy that is in talks to be Dumbledore, which is funny because he's American.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to have all British people.
That's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking.
You know
too.
how I know him the most?
How?
His Third Rock from the Sun.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
I know him from. Is it Harry and the Hendersons? No, was he in Harry and the
Was
Hendersons?
he also Lord Farquaad?
Yes.
Yes.
But a lot of people know him from Dexter as well. He was the best villain in Dexter.
Too bloody for me.
Oh, he was excellent as the Trinity Killer. Oh my
Okay.
goodness gracious!
Thank you.
All right,
Mary
so
Killing Clark Joseph.
yeah, Mary. All right, a couple of things.
Not liking Master Raymond.
I'm kind of down with that take, because,
I love him. I don't love him, but I love his character. I think it's interesting, and I think there's so much to delve into.
I agree with Mary Caitlin Joseph Clark.
Stop it. It's Clark Joseph.
Clark Joseph. Sorry.
Get it right.
I've never been a big Master Raymond guy. It always seemed Outlander, and it's not just Outlander. I think a lot of shows, but I think Outlander suffers from it. Is characters that are created because they're caricatures of themselves, like they exist just for a purpose, and that's it. They're not like real characters. And like the Comte is one of those guys. He's just like a character that exists in a show. The guy that was Lord John's paramour, the spy in this season. He's one of those kind of characters too.
His stepbrother.
The stepbrother. He's kind of one of those guys too. So is the guy that was the other British spy, the one that was like a turncoat. He's just like Captain Phillips. Is that his name? No, that's Tom Hanks. I can't remember his name.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So
understand
that's what I
what you're getting
have
at.
always associated with Master Raymond.
However, I love the magic. I love the mystery. I love so much about Outlander, but I like when things get weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like the captain of weird is this guy with this crocodile. I'm here for him.
I want to go back to something that Angie said too, where she thinks now that the book readers and just the TV show watchers are now kind of on the same level.
Yeah, it's an even playing field.
What do you think about that, Mary? As a book reader yourself, are you happy about this now?
I am. I think it's a cool thing because we're all scratching our heads and we all get to have something to talk about
Fair enough.
that we share in common. That
Now we
don't-
can get your outlandish theories of the week.
Ooh,
We're now
nice.
both going to have to come up with one.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you take Gina?
Okay, Gina says, all I have to say is that this has to be a dream or Claire is still Delulu from her near-death experience. This is so ridiculously dumb. And I'll stand by this until season 8. Why can't Claire, brilliant Claire, reason that maybe Fanny's mom was a time traveler and not her stillborn baby who somehow memorized the song she sang to her while not being alive? Makes no sense and isn't typical Claire. I'm mad at this ridiculousness overshadowed literally everything else in the entire show. They could have lengthened other quality scenes without that in there. Made it me feel more genuine. This wasn't a great episode in my opinion. Holding out hope for season 8. This is Gina. Yeah.
Valid take, Mary.
Do you like the accent I gave her?
I did,
I
yeah.
know she's probably not from any of those places.
I feel like Gina's from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Especially with the way she spells it.
Yeah.
It feels like a New Jersey thing.
I like that.
I think that's why you like subconsciously started giving her the accent.
I kind of give the accent that I would do for my vagina monologue.
Yeah, right.
Down there?
Down there? What do you mean down there?
What do you mean down there? I'm not talking about my down there.
All right, this one comes from Emily. She says, "Hey, Mary and Blake, this is Emily here from Toledo, Ohio. Here is my feedback on 716. I thought this was a good episode of television. Made me laugh. It made me cry. And I gave it 4.7 kilts."
Wait. She gave it 4.7/5 kilts too, just like someone else, just like Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph did. 4.74/5.
Do you think this is this is the same person?
These people, no, I'm not saying that Emily from Toledo is the same as Mary Caitlin Clark Joseph. I'm just saying a lot of people have this slash in here.
4 first names. How do you have 4 first names?
Leave her alone.
My good in the GBG was Franny's acting. She was great during the sad moments, and I really felt bad for her after her sister's passing. My bad was killing off Rolo. Like, what? That came out of left field, and the whole scene lasted like 0.2 seconds. Was it bad that I cried more when the dog died than when Jane died? Yes. Yes, it is bad.
I cried more for the dog too. Don't
Emily.
worry, Emily.
Emily.
I cried more for the dog too. Don't worry, Emily. It's okay.
This is not the new Emily.
Devil Wears Prada reference for you there, Emily.
Hey, that's a deep cut. All right.
Okay, keep going.
And my best is all of the weird stuff with Master Raymond.
I love Emily.
And the big reveal that Faith might have lived.
Love it, Emily.
This feels like the old Outlander in the beginning seasons, and I've honestly missed having those wow twists. It's been a tad boring lately, I must admit, so I'm glad things are about to get crazy next season.
I'm here for it, Emily. I'm here for the crazy. Donna writes in. Donna from Maine.
You took the next long one.
I'm just no, Blake. I'm tossing it to you.
Oh.
What does Donna have to say, Blake?
What you
Donna
said-
from Maine. There you go, Blake. Take it away.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Donna from Maine checking in on 716. It made me cry so darn many times. 4.8 kilts for me. Wow, man. A lot of positive comments.
Yeah.
A lot of
love-
positivity. This is good stuff.
Yes, Blake.
My good is Ian, Rachel, and then Rolo.
Yes.
I really believed Ian's anguish at Rolo's death, mature pain as the adult he has become. And I just love Ian and Rachel, the possibility of a child and seeing it written on his face. Fear, joy, apprehension. Love those two more and more. I've read all the big books and most of the novellas and the LJG novels, but for the life of me, I can't agree with the Faith twist. Yes, there is a bit in Book 9. To be honest, I pre-ordered Book 9 and read it immediately, and I really didn't like it. Sorry, Diana. But it doesn't go anywhere. Why would Matt and Tony make such a huge mockery of the loss of Faith and the anguish that Claire and Jamie deal with over it? I just don't believe it. And I hope they haven't made it into a huge deal that warps too many episodes in season 8. Secondly, cringing at Bree as she speaks with Brian at Lallybrock. Her non-accent, not even an attempt to blend into the time period, it pulled my focus, and that's not what they wanted, I'm sure. Or, really, me either. Brian, on the other hand, was superb. Excellent characterization from Andrew Whipp. I also felt the writing for Bree, knowing that it was Matt and Tony, could have had better in this scene instead of the basic drivel she said. And I did catch that Claire says she's never done surgery on someone she loves. Jamie? Hand? Snake bite? Removing BJR's tattoo scar? And anything else on anyone she cared about on the Ridge? Come on, writers. It's like a bad soap opera when the writers don't remember things that all the fans do. So, slightly disappointed.
That's okay. It's okay, Donna.
You know, the thing with Bree, this has come up a lot. The thing with Bree is that I think it was Matt and Tony, again, it was them trying to wink at us. Like, we're in on the joke too with Bree. And we were supposed to have that kind of like all-knowing wink. Mm-hmm. But the problem was the way that it's written, it's only meant for the audience. It's not meant for Bree and Brian, if you know what I mean.
They do.
To wink at.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, I think, is why it was so awkward for so many. All right, let's do the next voicemail.
Hey, Mary and Blake. This is Marcy calling from Denver.
Hi, Marcy.
Hey, Marcy.
First-time caller, very long-time listener, proud member of the Nerd Clan. I'll tell you where I'm from at the end. I give this episode 5 kilts. The good, Frank, outstanding. Oh, and the painting, I didn't know it was famous. I started out as a show watcher and then after season 1 discovered the books, so I love they included Frank's book and what this may foreshadow. My small bad was the rescue of William. Didn't blow my doors off. I had a tie for the great. The first was the montage at the beginning, all the feels. It was like a yearbook, Mary. My second great, everything Jamie. His assurance that he would see Claire after the battle. Did you notice when he looked back at Claire as he rode away? He was confident he would see Claire again. He didn't look back when he left William as a boy because he didn't think he'd see William again. At the beginning, Claire talks about the second law of thermodynamics while Jamie says God made hope. Jamie has a deep faith in God. Claire is a doctor with a scientific mind. Oh, and Mary, I love the blood and the medical bits. But after Claire is shot, there is Jamie's utter refusal to let her die. Jamie tells God that his angels have no dominion in that church. Now Jamie is protecting Claire from God taking her. I grew up in the Midwest eating Midwestern salads because I'm from Kansas.
Well, I'm sorry for you because Midwestern salads, get out of here. Now that voicemail was clearly about episode 15, not 16, but that's okay. That's okay because it's still valid. And I gotta say, I liked 15 much better than 16. But people are saying Jamie should get his flowers, and I don't know. I don't see it happening for Outlander, especially this late into the run. But I was indeed very impressed by Sam in his acting in 7:15. All right, let's do the next voicemail. Here we go.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Tamiris again, and I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. And I'm here to talk about the season finale. I give this episode a 4.7. It is a great and emotional episode with one flaw. I have two goods. The first is Claire and Jamie thanking Lord John. I'm glad that he's finally receiving his deserving recognition from the Fraser family. The second is Janie waving at the Northern Lights, so 100,000 angels can carry her up to heaven. My bad is the cliffhanger, the resurrection of fate. Most of the Brazilian fandom is angry, confused, and unsatisfied, and I'm a little bit too. I know that Matt Roberts always wants to surprise the audience, especially the book readers, but I think he's gone too far. If this is true, and I hope it's not, it would be so cruel and devastating to Jamie and Claire, and I won't talk about William having sex with his niece. My grade is the Mackenzie family's reunion. I loved it, and I really enjoy Roger and Bree as a couple, both in the book and the show versions. To finish, I want to add to the Happy New Year discussion. There is a saying in Brazil that the year only begins after the carnival, which is a huge holiday here, and of course between February and March. So, feliz ano novo para vocês, feliz año nuevo para nuestros hermanos hispanohablantes, and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mary, I think there's something to be said about Matt wanting to surprise the audience and make them feel. But, as Tamira said here, is this kind of a bridge too far?
Why do you think it is?
Because it feels made up.
Huh.
It doesn't feel natural. It feels like we need to keep people interested in Outlander, and we need to keep them talking about it, and let's make a big splash, and hopefully people will think what was kind of posited earlier, which was maybe if I watch Blood on My Blood, faith could be in that too.
Yeah, I don't think many people are thinking that. I think people are honestly interested in this in the love stories. So many of us fell in love with old school Scotland. Give us the accents, the kilts,
Sure.
the history, the culture, and no matter what, like we're going back to the Ridge right now, and the time period is different. Even for friends still in Scotland, things are different. So I'm here for it.
All right, let's do the next voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Glow from Salem.
Hi, Glow.
I never know where my kitty is when I'm recording. I'm glad you enjoyed him. That was so hysterical. Okay, this is for season finale of Outlander. 5 kills for this baby. I didn't care for the ending just because as a book reader, it didn't seem very fair to only show watchers. My good was Lord John Grey coming to see Claire, that whole interaction. John and Jamie standing off, if you will, and Claire reacting behind them. Oh my God, I could hear her saying in her head, "Will you bloody men stop and make up already?" It was kind of humorous. My bad was William's last words.
No, Glory, it's, "Would you bloody men just stop and make up already?" Sorry, Gloria. Continue.
To Jamie, as Jamie was telling him about his mom. It was very hurtful and downright rude. And my great was seeing Master Raymond again. God, I love that man. I just wish they spoke more. And of course, everything with Fanning. Yes, Blake, that little actress is amazing. So good. I love what Frances said about her mom telling her about the dragonflies. So many tears throughout, though. Poor Rollo, oh my God, broke my heart, among so many others. The music, the lighting, the writing, the editing, all of it. It was like our old Outlander was back. Not these split in half seasons. I hope they don't do that to us for the last one. Now to settle in for our long, long Droughtlander. Bye.
All right, Mary. Percentage chance of season 8 being split.
Oh.
What do you give as a percentage? All right, I'll give you an over under. Ready?
Yeah.
Over under 40%.
Over.
You're taking an over? I put it high just so you wouldn't take the over.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That is banana land. Why do you think it's going to be split like that?
Why not? Everything's been split recently.
True.
You know?
Wow. Man, that is crazy. I thought for sure you were going to take the under.
I wish there wasn't going to be a split, but I have no faith.
See what we did there?
I have no faith that there will not be a split.
Yeah. All right. Let's define split. Because like a split, not like, oh, we're taking a week off, like to do whatever,
Yeah.
but like a split meaning like
Part A, Part B.
Yeah, part A, part B, like more than 3 months.
Oh, okay. I could see them taking a small split.
A small split.
Yeah, mini split.
What's a mini split?
Like holidays. The holidays off.
That doesn't count.
Oh,
I
think it does.
Holidays don't.
Like old school Outlander.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Not years in between.
All right.
Janelle McKinney.
All right. Janelle, she says, "Hey, Mary and Blake, my brain has been spinning ever since that crazy finale. I've been debating whether I should watch season 7 its entirety before starting my Droughtlander rewatch from season 1. I think it was a good finale for a great season. Considering they pretty much put the ending of book 6 and both books 7 and 8 into one 16-episode season, they did as well as they could. Remember, they used 16 episodes for the first season, adapting the first book, and told it well. At the end of it all, this season suffered from too much story and not enough time or money, if things were to be told properly. There were amazing performances throughout the season from the main cast and great moments from the smaller roles. However, big however, I do think this twist is a sign that we need to be ready for the time travel lore and mysticism to take a bigger role. After all, it's always been a question throughout the show of how this works. Roger was working on his Time Traveler's Guide in 7A. He and Buck had been trying to figure out how all of this works if they caused their future, saving Roger's dad, causing Kalis and Dougal to meet, etc., or if they made it worse. My only bad for this episode is Bree. I'm glad to see the fam reunited, but so little was explained about that. And while I loved seeing her interact with Brian, it was hard because however many seasons and episodes in, Sophie Skelton's portrayal of Bree continues to be 2D. You can tell the actor who played Brian had studied Sam's portrayal of Jamie and worked in different mannerisms so that he reminded the viewers of Jamie. It was amazing, but it almost made Bree seem woefully awkward and flat. It's too bad because I felt like she made some good strides this season. Sophie Skelton is a lovely person, but hasn't really embodied Bree the way that the other actors have embodied their characters. It felt a little bit of the same with Charles Vandervaart at the beginning of season 7, but he really came into his own and understands and embodies William. I want to encourage fans to not jump ship, but instead say, hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Say it out loud.
By the way, I can't remember. Are you covering Blood of My Blood? Supposedly some of these time traveler things will be connected there. Yes, as we had said earlier, we will be covering Blood of My Blood. And, you know, Mary, Sophie Skelton's kind of grown on me. I wouldn't say that she's bad, but I wouldn't say either that she's very good. I think I'm just kind of agnostic. I'm indifferent.
Yeah, I'd say that too. She's not, my favorite of the cast.
Now
we're pro like all of the cast.
Yes.
We are huge supporters of all of them.
100%.
They are wonderful people. We want to be supportive. But if I had to say who do I feel like has portrayed these characters that I got to know in my mind the best in how my mind had it, she's not on my top.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that she's a bad actress. I'm at all. Like you said, we're very much pro actor because they have to, they have to translate these things into life, and that's a hard job. I could never do that. But like you said, Mary, when it comes to embodying something that either you've built up or embodying something that I've been told about, right? Bree is supposed to be this fiery character. She's supposed to have. She's supposed to be wicked smart, but also the temperament of Jamie and all of those things.
I think she does it, but it's just not.
I don't think it. I don't think it embodies what is meant to be. And I think she had that little quip in the beginning of 7A when she was talking to her boss, and implying that she had a small D. I think that's what it was. And then she had a chance there to really get after it as Bree in that Temper Wood with Rob Cameron stuck in the priest's hole, but nothing ever came of it. So is that Sophie Skelton's fault, or is that the writing's fault?
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Stacy.
Hi,
I realize
Stacey.
every time I've ever called, I've said from Canada, which is a rather large place.
It is.
So this time I'll be a little more specific. I live just outside of Toronto.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, giving my thoughts on the season 7 finale of Outlander. I'd say this for me is like a 4.85 kills. I really liked it. I thought it was a really strong finale. It's maybe up there as one of my top finales. Dragonfly and Amber season 2 will always be my top, but my fave, but this was really strong. And I'm going to break the rules. Instead of GBGs, I'm just going to talk about that twist, that ending. I know it's really divisive. I've seen a lot of people that hated it, said it ruined the finale for them. And I guess to each their own. For me, I guess unpopular opinion, I'm ready to go with it. I'm game. And I'm like, let's see where this goes. As a book reader, I think it's interesting that they kind of took these seeds that were planted in book 9 that Diana planted, but never really followed through with. Mm-hmm. And they've made a choice and they're leaning in and they are watering those seeds. And I'm kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes. It has the potential to be really, really interesting if they can execute it well. So I'm game. I have no idea where this is going to go. And I find that interesting. One downside, if this is true, William slept with his niece, so that sucks for him. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Well, as we say in House Larson, sucks to suck, bro.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, not great. But that, you know what? Hey, that happens. You know, sometimes, just
Oh, no, it doesn't really, Blake. No.
well,
Hate to break it to you.
If you're in Westeros, I suppose it would happen quite. For certain, if you're part of one or a couple of family bloodlines, but that is what it is. All right, let's get to the next one.
Hello, Mary and Blake. It's your friend Jenny from
Hi,
Scotland.
Jenny.
It's Jenny from the Bra.
Jenny.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Well done, Blake. Really good pun. Yeah, I thought I'd just phone in to give you my thoughts about the last episode now that I have watched it. And Claire, from me calling her an idiot last time, she has redeemed herself. I thought that episode was great. She was like such a lovely, like soft version of herself, which we don't get to see enough. And like that moment over the piss bucket when Jamie was helping her go to the toilet. Oh, that was just like a really nice wee moment. And we haven't had that for a while. And that was nice. Usually she's just bossing everyone around and being a bit of a pain. So no, it was lovely. And the cliffhanger at the end, whoa, was not expecting that at all. I am a book reader. I'm not a book reader. I'm just a show watcher. So wow, I was not expecting that, and looking forward to seeing where they take this in season 8. I'm going to send you another little voicemail in a minute because I'm running out of time. Just to give you a little bit more of Outlander trivia from me, from a Scottish point of view.
Love it.
All right. Well, because it's the finale, Marvin,
Let's do it.
we're breaking all the rules. Here we go.
Hello, Mary and Blake. It's Jenny again. So I wanted to just tell you a little bit of trivia. One of my friends actually worked on Outlander for quite a long time.
So cool.
As a scenic artist. So he painted a lot of the sets that you see. So a lot of like the interior sets where it's made to look like brick or like wood paneling or things like that. He actually painted them. So those are not wood or brick. They are painted. He did that for a long time, for quite a few seasons. But unfortunately it did not lead me to meeting Sam or Katrina.
Well, then what the hell good is he?
Which is a shame. Also, I have another friend who went to school with Lauren Lyle, who plays Marcelly.
Very cool.
So that really proves to you that Scotland is really just a village.
Yes.
But yeah, that was my trivia. I just want to say thank you so much for keeping me company with your hilarious podcasts. I listen to them whilst I'm sewing. I have a handmade sewing business. And it keeps me company listening to you guys whilst I'm sewing away.
Aww.
So thank you very much, Mary and Blake, and I will see you guys for season 8. Really looking forward to it. Hope it's not too long of a Droughtlander. Okay, love from Scotland. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny. I wonder, Mary, if we could get in contact with Jenny from the Brock's friend, and he can just come and just paint our house to make it look beautiful, like Claire and Jamie's house.
Or we could interview him. So Jenny from the Brock.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Would your friend like to chat with us?
That's a great idea. I like that idea. That's what I would like to do. That's fun.
He doesn't need to come to America.
No, I still want him to come and take care of our house. Absolutely. Do something cool in our studio. How fun would that be?
Anyway.
But yes, interviewing would be great. If he would like to speak with us, please connect us. I think that would be fun. All right, this one comes from Laurel. She says, I loved how this episode slowed down moments between Claire and Jamie. It was sweet to see Jamie taking care of Claire. Also, Claire and Jamie again killing it as the best grandparents ever to Jane's sister.
They really are the
best. My good. Bree and Brian Fraser's convo. It was so sweet and gave a glimpse into Brian a bit and is setting the stage for a prequel. Maybe you want to know more about Brian Fraser and Ellen. Again, I will reiterate this. I know people are probably sick of us saying it, but this is why I love the listener feedback episode, because the comment before was, I hated this conversation. And here's Laurel saying, this is like one of the best parts of the whole episode.
It's getting me so excited for the prequel. I'm really pumped for it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the bad was I wasn't ready for Outlander to end. But I'm so excited for the prequel in the summer.
Me too, Laurel.
And, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, to get back to Scotland, have the magic. I just have that setting is just such a special and unique setting.
It is.
That will make up for a lot of deficiencies without you even recognizing it.
You're just going to be so happy to be back.
Honestly,
with
yeah.
the accents, with the kilts,
Yeah.
with the shinty.
All of it. Like I'm looking forward to it. I've said in the past before, and I'll say it again, I wish we had somewhat of a different voice other than Matt Roberts as the showrunner. Just because I would like to see what somebody else could do with it and play in that Outlander sandbox. But if we're not going to get that, I'm still happy we're going back to Outlander.
Amen.
All right, Laurel's great was William and Jamie. Loved that William came to Jamie for help. Also, William is still emotionally struggling, like he should be, and processing his messy life. And I love this storyline. I kind of wish Jamie told him that William's mother coerced him into the situation. But this is showing Jamie's character, wanting to only say nice things about her to already hurt William.
Yeah, he didn't act like me. Wow.
Yeah.
I want to know the
Here's
truth
the
about
truth. Your mom sucks. Honorable mention, LJG's every scene literally kills it every time. Outfits, one eye acting, everything. Also, the lighting in this episode was fab.
One eye acting. Yes, Laurel.
I'm telling you, without Lord John this season would be something.
He did so well with just one eye.
Exactly. Imagine
Love
if he
it.
had two. How good it would have been if he had two eyes.
It already was a good season. But it would have blown you away.
I know. This one comes from Teresa. She says, "Hey, Mary and Blake, Taz in DC here. Long time, first time. Okay, awesome. Where is it?
I had to weigh in.
But I had to weigh in on this episode. My kilt rating is 4.6. Good. All the Rachel, Ian, Rollo baby stuff. Ian losing his beloved pal was heartbreaking, but seems somehow timely that they'll be starting a new family together. I'm sure he'll get another best friend soon, though. My bad, like many others, the faith twist. I'm reading the books and had finished what the hell is that?
Written in my heart's own blood.
Oh.
My own heart's blood, sorry. Written in
What the?
my heart's own.
What are we doing? Sorry.
Oh, look at you. It's your FF moment.
Oh.
It's your FF moment.
No, it's not. No, like I knew it was
No.
something.
No, you didn't. You were
But I didn't know like what it.
your brain.
Okay, whatevs. But not read ahead and said, "Wait, what?" At the end, even with the weird return of Master Raymond in a dream, maybe, and other hints in this episode, there had been nothing about this before this episode, and the implications of this reveal are just awful. William and Jane might be related. MH and MR playing a horrendous trick on Claire and Jamie. There better be a really...
MH, MR.
Yes, Mother
Okay.
Hildegard
There you
and
go.
Master Raymond. There better be a really good explanation for all of this. And if it isn't in the books, well, others have made a Game of Thrones reference, so I don't need to. But my great, Jamie's taking care of Claire as she recovers. Doctors are notoriously bad patients, and many women and mothers also. We're just so used to taking care of others, it feels weird to need others' help.
Oh my God, I love being a patient.
Yes, she does.
When we had Felicity, our little Outlander baby,
Oh, yeah.
they were like, "You can go home early. You're great." And I was like, "No."
No. I want my 3 square a day.
Oh.
You could bring it to me, please. This is like a cruise.
I told Blake it was like a cruise.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I said. I was like, "This is like a cruise. I don't have to do anything. I could just go with the flow.
Yep.
I can be as extroverted as I want. Someone brings me food.
Oh my God, thank you.
I can just hide in my room if I want to."
But Jamie had great bedside manner, just the right balance of care, coaxing, and ordering needed. It really showed the depth of their relationship and all that they have grown together. I don't know if I'll be able to keep from reading the next book during the Outlander because of the cliffhanger, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll be disappointed in either book or the series. Mary, what would you recommend?
Taz, read, my friend. There's time, and here's the scoop. Have we gone a little in a different direction? Yes, but that just makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And you get to expand upon the Outlander universe. I say read.
Yeah.
If you've got an inkling of should I? The answer is yes.
So, Mary, something was brought up here. Taz brought up the Game of Thrones of it all, and infamously, the creators, meaning David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the showrunners of the show, they created their own ending, which I'm sure was informed at least by George R.R. Martin. But, I would say that there's a lot of fair criticism for how they ended the series. Not in terms of the story, but their execution of that story. Mary, do you think that it is apropos to compare what Matt Roberts is doing with Outlander to Game of Thrones?
I don't know until we see what he comes to it with.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's apropos. I mean, you've got the author who hasn't written fast enough. Let's be real.
Yep.
Honey, let's speed it up a little bit.
Pick it up, Diana.
She is not nearly as slow as her friend George R. R.
No.
Martin. But the other, she writes a million things at once. She's dibbling and dabbling in all of her adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the reason why it takes her so long.
Did you just make up a phrase, dibbling and dabbling?
Is that not already a phrase?
Well,
Did I just-
dabbling's a word, but I've never heard dibble and dabbling.
Oh, I might have just made it up, and I'm here for it.
You're famous for
A dibble
that.
dabble. So, it's the show can't go on forever. The show can't wait for her.
No.
And unless she's going to tell them everything, which she doesn't know everything because she's still writing. She knows a lot. She knows all, her main points and how she's going to be getting there. But
I'm sure she has an ending in mind. It's just the road of getting there.
No, of course. And, a lot of which has been shared, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different because her books aren't done. So it is what it is. And you can't not compare it because, this is a living author who the show has beat her in the race.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here for it.
The funny thing is too, Mary, I kind of like that Matt went in his own direction. Just because it's not in the book, I don't care. Right? And listen, I'm not a book reader, so I'm not married to it. But and I understand why some book readers are married to the books and no, it's not what Diana says, so you can't do that. No, let Matt tell his story. If it's informed by Diana, great. I hope that it is.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces of this that they grew up from. So
sure, so then let them have their own ending. That's fine, as long as it makes sense to the DNA of the show. Mm-hmm. The same thing I said about Game of Thrones. I don't care if it's not George's ending. Fine, whatever, as long as it made sense. And I think the result made sense for Game of Thrones, but just the execution of getting to that end was really, I think, poorly done, which I think kind of soured a lot of people on the ending. So I hope that the opposite happens for Outlander. Perhaps Matt has his own ending in mind. Perhaps it's a good one, but he better execute it well. And if he, in my estimation, Mary, if he can't get his stuff together for Faith, then that execution, it's going to be ugly.
To me, it already was figured out. You couldn't do this and be all right, and then we'll figure it out little by little. Everything's already wrapped. So it's
Yeah, no, what I'm saying
done.
is I hope that in that process they did figure it out and they
figured it out well is what you're saying.
Yeah, and
yes.
that they executed it well.
Yes.
Right? I'm sure that they had a plan, and I'm sure that, but I hope that getting there earns it, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it earns it. All right, the next one, let's do another voicemail.
Hi, Marion Blake. This is Katarina again, calling for the last episode of Outlander. So first of all, you were absolutely wrong. I'm not Italian or Greek. And I think the chow at the end really threw you, didn't it?
Yes.
So I'm from Mozambique, a
Really?
southern African country that was
Wow.
colonized by Portugal, and that's why we speak Portuguese.
So listen, I wasn't 100% off. You give me like, oh no, because I said Greece. I didn't say.
no, and
Brazil.
I was like, chow.
Yeah,
Let's eat some
you said
pizza.
Italy. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You need to know, is chow a common way of saying goodbye?
Yeah. And hello and but whatevs. I don't know.
No, because that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I guess so.
No matter what.
Yeah, so
Love
cool.
it. And we were totally wrong.
Well, I was way off.
The chow totally threw us off.
That it did throw us off. It threw me off.
Just like a y'all throws us off here in
Yeah.
America.
You can't be dropping y'all bombs if you're not from like the South.
Correct. There's certain areas that can say it.
You're never gonna hear me say y'all.
Or a.
Hey, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No.
Only certain people do that.
No, I ain't doing that.
Interesting. All right, continue.
All right, sorry, yeah.
Now I'm like super
Along
intrigued.
Yeah.
with other African countries like Angola, Cabo Verde, Guinea-Bissau, and São Tomé e Príncipe. So there you go, a little history or geography.
Well, you know what, Katarina? Thank you so much. That was actually really cool. And now we can officially say that we have a listener in Mozambique. How
Love
cool
it.
is that?
Love it.
All right, awesome. Let's go.
I have a lot of thoughts about season 7, but let's focus on this episode, which I give 4.5 kills.
Okay.
My good was the conversation between Claire and Lord John and how she thanked him for saving her life. My bad was Ian's reaction over Rolo's death. It was so over the top. And my great was all the scenes between Claire and Fanny. It was so lovely. At last, I'm not sure about the cliffhanger at the end at all. Why are we introducing new and shocking plot lines when we just have 10 more episodes to go and wrap things up? So, bye guys. Really gonna miss you and your podcast.
Well, you don't have to stay too away from us for that long because we will be covering Blood of My Blood. Yeah. So if you're watching that show, come back, Katarina, and join us from the wonderful land of Mozambique. Two things, Mary. One, why are we introducing this at the end of this season, right? And then two, is Ian's reaction a little overdone?
Listen, our daughter, our little lass we just talked about a moment ago, she can watch movies where there are people who are like sad or hurt, or she can have real life people who are sad or hurt. Mm-hmm. And she gives 0 Fs. All right. Heart of steel. But if there is, when we watched Charlotte's Web, and that flippin' spider died.
Hashtag spoiler alert.
Please. Or if any movie, any animal dies. You sit there and you're like, how are you the same person?
How are you having a breakdown?
Oh my God. Like, it is out of control. So there are just some people who, honestly, pets do it for them. And this is a real thing.
Could you imagine if we showed her old Yella?
No.
Oh my God.
Do you remember though, like in the Independence Day?
Yep.
And everyone was losing their mind over the dog.
Yes.
In the tunnel.
Yep.
Like, did the dog survive? And that was the big thing. It's like, who cares about these humans who are now being decimated by aliens? Who cares about the
Chrysler building just went up in flames.
Madam Vice President or whoever it is that dies, right?
Yeah.
As long as Will Smith's dog is okay.
Right.
We're good.
Or when Will Smith had to kill the dog in
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Man, why is Will Smith always killing dogs? Or why is Will Smith's dogs always in danger?
No, it's because I'm telling you, dogs do a thing.
Sure.
Dogs do a thing to people, particularly certain people. Just like how some people get like, relaxed from ASMR and some people don't.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Some people get turned on by ASMR.
And so, I just think that if like that's not your reaction to losing a dog, just know that there's this little girl named Felicity in Rhode Island. Who she would,
that is having a meltdown at some point.
That will be her reaction when our dog Butterbeer
I feel
passes.
like that scene in The Crown when Queen Elizabeth is listening to that little choir from the school
Yeah.
of all the little kids that died, and she's like trying to cry, but she can't.
That's our daughter.
That's our daughter.
But like, I was a mess when we lost Khaleesi, our cat.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it really, when pets have gone through stuff with you and they've really been your best friend or a therapy aspect, it is hard.
All right. This one comes from Elizabeth. She says, I'm a massive book fan. I have read them all, including the side books, many times. I don't think the ending makes sense in either Outlander TV world or Outlander book world. First of all, Elizabeth, thank you for distinguishing the two. I really appreciate that. I think using the song was a really bad bit. Loved the episode until the last few minutes. In some ways, when a story relies on fantasy or science fiction, it makes adherence to the internal logic even more important. They could have had Claire voice her sometimes feeling that Faith lived without the song. Fanny could only know a song from the early 20th century, either from a time traveler or through a chain of people that included a time traveler. My initial gut feeling was that the Outlander, the TV show, had finally jumped the shark. On reading various comments and thinking about it a bit more, I suspect that this is linked to Blood of My Blood and the insistence that it include Claire's parents, who Diana Gabaldon has said she has no interest in. Insane decision for Outlander used to lure viewers in for the prequel, perhaps? I don't think they're above it. I'm not going to lie. And I think if you're, here's something that I want to say. James Bond, right? The people who were in charge of James Bond since the beginning, right? It was a guy named his last name was Broccoli. Oddly enough,
kidding me?
No, and his
Change
daughter,
that,
his daughter,
Mr. Broccoli,
took it over from him.
What was her name?
And she was the producer. Her name
Steamed?
is her name is Barbara Broccoli. So she and her brother.
That's what he named her.
So she and her brother have been the stewards of James Bond since before Pierce Brosnan. Okay. They just recently gave up the producer role, like the people that are in charge of the IP, to Amazon MGM. So now Amazon will be producing the IP of James Bond from now on, which is kind of a big deal, right? Okay. They paid $1 billion to do this. Mm-hmm. My whole point is Barbara Broccoli was upset at first with Amazon.
First with her name.
I know, she should be upset with her name. But at least it's not 4 first names. She was upset with Amazon because they were talking about James Bond as content. And they wanted to do spin-offs, and they wanted to have TV shows and cartoons, and she got pissed. And she's like, this is not content. It is cinema. And I say that because part of me feels like if Stas and the producers are treating Outlander as content, they will make a tie between faith and time traveling and whatever and Blood of My Blood. And I hope that they're not treating it
What's
as
so wrong
content.
with content? What's the bad connotation with content?
Because content is a thing that you mine. Content is a thing that you produce. Content gets mass produced, right? On a global scale, right? It's not as impactful or meaningful. Like this right here, our podcast. This is content, right? I like to think of it as our show. I like to think of it as something that I deeply care about. But, I mean, we're part of... There are 12 billion podcasts out there, right? And they all are produced in ways that are different from each other. We take our production very seriously, but there are other people that don't. But when you treat something special and singular with real intent and real artistry, that to me is cinema. I think there's an argument to be made, like all the Marvel movies. I know a lot of people got pissed off when Martin Scorsese said that's not cinema. That's just a movie. And now that I've thought about it, I kind of get it. I kind of get where he's coming from. Because it feels like they're just churning out things to churn them out. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, that's fair. I get it. So
I get it, but it kind of just comes off snobby.
It does. Absolutely.
And so, why yuck someone's yum and say, oh, that's not, whatever.
Well,
if someone's going to love Blood of My Blood, who cares? What do you call it? Whatever you call it.
I hope that they treat it with respect. I guess that's what I'm getting
We know they are. That we know that the cast, the crew, the creators, they're treating it with respect. They're not making a mockery of it.
No. What I mean is, I hope that they're not creating it and altering the pathway of their story just to create another thing, if you know what I mean. I that's what I hope. So I kind of get it. All right, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hello from the Highlands of Scotland. It's Kirsten Lang here.
Hi, Kirsten.
Giving my take on the finale. The good. I never thought a scene where Claire is peeing into a bucket would be a highlight for me, but it was. This perfectly illustrated the depths of connection in a decades-long relationship. Because in its simplicity, we were able to see Claire's vulnerability and fierce independence. Yet that moment when she realised that this man who she's loved for so long could still surprise her with his compassion and love was perfect. And I know that feeling well. The bad. Rollo dying. It was just like Marley and me all over again. Jeez, I was blubbering like a baby.
Aww.
And there had been plenty of tears already this episode. Mm-hmm. The great. The controversial Faith plotline. I immediately went back and watched Faith, the episode in season 2. Claire doesn't even hold her in it. So the show has created this entire narrative, but before we balk at the unfeasibility of it...
Hold on, time out. Wasn't Claire holding Faith when she was singing the song to her?
Yeah.
So she does hold Faith. There was a dead baby in her arms.
Kirsten, fill us back in.
Yeah, go back and I would revisit that one more time.
She said she just watched it.
I know, but I would revisit it one more time.
Maybe she's talking about a different time.
All right, fair enough.
Maybe I don't know.
All right.
Oh, Diana was interviewed by Parade and stated that the idea came from her. That's all from me. Cheerio.
Aw, thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate that.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Bunny from Cincinnati. I feel like this podcast is going to be mostly about the whole Faith storyline versus some wonderful moments in the rest of the episode. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I don't think I'll know until I see it. Regardless of how you feel about the Faith storyline, I think it was a brilliant marketing tool. While I enjoyed Book 9, Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, I don't think it was the best book by Diana Gabaldon, and Season 8 will be focused on the rest of Book 8 and mostly Book 9. I believe that any storyline that starts in Book 9 and doesn't resolve by the end of it will probably not be included in Season 8. So they needed to come up with something else to fill the gap, because they only have small sections of Book 10 to include. Diana gave them the idea, and they ran with it. Sam said that it'll be a major storyline throughout Season 8, and he felt that the Season 7B finale will have people talking, and it sure has. Going into the final season, you want people to be eager to find out what happened to Faith. The success, as you said, Blake, will all depend on how the story plays out, if it's believable in a show about time travel, and how it is written. Matt Roberts and Tony Graffia know how to tell a story, and if it's done well, people will be happy. If not, they won't. I, for one, can't wait to see how they do it.
All right,
awesome.
Bunny, thank you.
Thank you, Bunny.
You did mention one thing, Bunny, that it sends up a big big waving red flag. Like there should be sirens and lights flashing in front of everybody. And an alarm sound should be popping up. And that was marketing tactic. If you're writing an ending to be a marketing tactic, that's what I mean by content, Mary. I think she just put it that way. And I think that's a good description. If you're writing something just to get people to talk, then I'm not sure if that's the right kind of writing. Like it should serve your story regardless of whatever the outside forces or however the outside forces interpret it. So that's what I hope that logic carries through.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Deirdre from Melbourne, Australia.
Hello.
Hi, Deirdre.
I rate this episode 4.8 kilts. My good is seeing some of the book scenes, like with William and Jamie, with how he came to be. And I enjoyed the creativity that added the scene with Brian and Brianna. My hands down big bad of the season was the ending storyline with Faith. Really struggling with how that's going to evolve. Can't see it. Finally, my great was the acting by Florrie Mae Wilkinson as young Frances. Outstanding. You can cue your music, Blake. She was great.
You know what? I'm not going to cue the music on principle alone.
Why?
Because
Because you don't like Fanny?
It's not that I don't like her. I think people are. I think they're throwing flowers. They're pumping her tires because she's a kid, and that's great.
Yeah, most kids suck.
I agree. But this, I don't think
Look
that
at
the.
Mandy.
I don't think that the. Daddy. Weird, creepy Mandy, man. Creepy Mandy's out on creepy Mandy. But I'm just saying, like, okay, pump the tires a little bit. That's fine.
That's for you.
But I think we're all just we're going head first in here for this girl. And I'm not ready yet.
Okay,
I'm not there.
Okay.
And Deirdre, I want to say this. Coming from somebody who has a very thick accent. So just understand that. And please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But we've been watching a lot of Bluey lately. And every time I hear the Australian accent now, I equate it immediately to Bluey.
Really?
Yeah. And all I could think about as Deirdre was talking about was Bluey. By the way, love that show. Never thought I would ever say that I love a children's show like that. But I feel like Bluey sees us as parents. Bluey gets it. And it's great. That episode when they're all hungover and Chili has to play the whale. Just awesome. Oh, so good. Thank you, Deirdre, for calling in. I appreciate that. Christine writes in, she says, this twist, in quotations, is completely out of left field. Straight from Planet Skippy, actually. I did not much care for the finale, even before this point. All that time with William rescuing Jane, I was thinking, why should I even care about this storyline that is consuming so much of the penultimate series finale? Like, we only have one more series finale to go, and that is what we got? Outside of the lighting, visual styling, and the connection between Jamie and Claire, and losing Rollo, this episode was mediocre. Mediocre as best. Mary.
Them's fighting words, right, Christine?
Is this a strong take?
Yeah, but this is why we do listener feedback.
Exactly.
This is why we do it.
Ms. T says, I'm with you in many ways, Blake. The ending not settling well with me. It's swirling around in my head and having to write about it. Thank you. The main thing I keep coming back to is why? It was an out of nowhere cliffhanger. Are we really going down this rabbit hole, or was this just Droughtlander fodder? I think the latter, and it frustrates me. I look forward to being wrong, actually. I loved this episode until that moment. Being a non-book reader, I don't know all the lore, but I feel like Outlander magic cannot be the only solution. Yes, this is a time-traveling, witchy kind of show. But this has always been a show that has laid the groundwork for all of its time-traveling witchiness. I'll end it here by saying this doesn't feel like that. What do you say about that, Mary?
I'd say it doesn't feel like Diana Gabaldon, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, if that's how you're used to it, if you're used to it having been laid out thoroughly,
yeah.
and that's what she does. You know, she is very thorough.
Yes.
That is a great adjective for her. Yeah, it's because this wasn't planned.
Yeah,
by
I mean,
her.
people say, "Oh, they got the idea from Diana," and it was like,
She's
I
had
read
a
that
million
magazine.
ideas.
Yeah, I read that article, and it was like Diana said, "Oh, we had talked about the idea of Claire thinking that Faith was alive, and that it may enter her brain occasionally, and
also the Master Raymond storyline kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, if there was an
it's-
opportunity for that to happen, then it would be discussed in the Master Raymond book that apparently she's creating or may not. I don't know. So it's like, yeah, and that's why I use that phrase "informed." Like, is this choice informed by Diana? Kinda, but that isn't. She wasn't like, I said this, and that's what we could do. Like, it was a thing that they heard, and it was part of a conversation that they heard, and they said, let's go that. I don't know. I hope they figure it out, man. All right, Maureen says, I'm still going back and forth on some things, but overall, I dig the ending. It's wild and super wobbly and dangerous, but at least it's interesting. I was worried this season was going to end on an easier note, like Jamie's in trouble with the army, or they get back to the ridge and start rebuilding, which would have been meh. My initial reaction to that reveal was, heck yeah, let's get weird. And I was super excited to see the writers have some balls with that narrative. It felt like they went, you know what? We got one season left, and we're going to go full throttle on it. Granted, it's been a while, and it's coming back a bit out of nowhere. But there were threads left hanging throughout the show about Master Raymond, for instance, and I'm not mad they are going back to the faith thing. It's extremely risky, and I think that's why I love it. I love the idea that the show is making it an extremely bold choice. But I also have reservations about it. I hope they don't end up playing the coincidence card. That would be terrible. I hope they handle it with care and respect both their audience and their characters. But I have faith, pun very intended, that they did, because I can't imagine a version of this where they are simply toying with fans for the sake of it.
Agreed.
Also, I hope it's a means to finally get a really weird with all the supernatural sci-fi elements of this show and really lean into those final chapters of this series. Maureen. I totally agree. You know me, Mary. I love when shows get weird. Let's get weird, dude. And this is getting weird. But
this is why I say we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
You know, we can't judge it until we see how they end it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am interested in seeing how they execute it. I'll say that.
Hey, Mary and Blake, it's Amanda from Ohio,
Hi.
longtime listener, first-time caller. I found you guys around season 4 and really enjoy your show. I gave this episode 5+ kilts. My good. I enjoyed Brianna having a moment with Brian. It edged on the border of cheesy, but they pulled it off. It was a nod to the new show coming. Reminds us that this show is about family and time travel. My better. I loved how Claire thanked Lord John properly. And then a second time in front of Jamie, putting him in his place. Best. As a book reader and a show watcher, I'm very strongly on the side of treating them as separate pieces of work. With this episode, I yelled when Master Raymond showed up. I was excited with the whole faith storyline. It's a bit more magical than the books that only hint of a concept. I enjoyed that instead of omitting things or skipping happenings because they don't have time for book lore, they just went for a whole other vibe. I really, really had fun with that. I grabbed my book afterwards, skimmed through the quote episode. It was so much fun. I don't know how they will explain it all, but I am here for it. Thanks again for your show. It brings more beloved Outlander to my life.
Oh, thanks, Amanda. Mary, this is the second 5+ that we have received from this episode. I am shocked.
I love it.
It's awesome. It's so great. We've had rankings from like 0 to 5+ on this episode. It shows you how wild the Outlander fandom is.
Hi, this is Kirsten with my feedback on the Outlander Season 7 finale.
Hi, Kirsten.
It was a lot, people.
It was.
I have to say, I looked at my husband and I said, this is what they wanted to use to end the show. This is how they intended to end the show before they knew they were renewed for Season 8. I don't really know what I think about all of that. But I will say, my good is the relationship between William and Jamie. I really loved it. I think it was great when he offered to help him. The whole thing with Jane, it went pretty much the same as the books. And I think that was a very satisfying father and son moment. My bad. There was too much going on. Whiplash, scene to scene to scene. Also, special recognition for how Brianna's wig took me right out. I couldn't take it. Mary, those bangs.
Yes.
You saw it too when she was talking to her grandfather in the past. That wig was absolutely atrocious.
Okay.
It was terrible. And my great, I have to say that we did resolve many of the big plot points. We're heading them back to the Ridge. We know that's where they're going to end up. Now, what's going to happen on the Ridge? I don't know. But I definitely agree with pretty much everything Blake said in his knee-jerk reaction about Faith and where are they going to go with it. I don't know. This is uncharted waters for us book readers.
Yeah, Kirsten, I agree. Mary, I think what?
I love how you're agreeing to her.
I agree to
when
her.
She
Who's agreeing with me?
you. Yeah. Yeah, Kirsten, I agree with myself. Thank you for agreeing with me. You're so ridiculous.
Who said I was modest?
Oh my God. You didn't even realize you were saying it.
Probably not.
Oh, I love that she loves what I said.
Of course, because you know why I like what you said? Because I'm right. Mary, she had said something that it was along the lines of, this is how they were going to end the show. Yeah. Like I think there was some discussion about this in terms of ending the show. Was Season 7 going to be the end or not? And they figured out that they were going to get renewed while they were breaking the story for Season 7 or whatever. So I don't think they wrote it, shot it, and then they learned that they were ending. So my thought is, no. I think they created this ending knowing that they were going to get to Season 8. But we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. By the way, if you do want to read my knee-jerk reaction to Faith and what I thought immediately following,
Who knows? Maybe you'll feel the same way as Blake.
Yeah,
and
you
will
know what? And then I'll agree with you. Because if you disagree, well then sorry, it sucks to suck.
No, it's okay to disagree. I do it all the time.
Yes, that's true. If you do want to read that, go to jointhenerdclan.com where you can read that. Just click on the knee-jerk reaction tab and you'll see it there. All right, this one comes from Angela. And I do want to say this. Angela had written a very long post at jointhenerdclan.com on my knee-jerk reaction. So if you want to read the entire post, please do so. Please go, and because she put a lot of time and thought and effort into this. What I did was I took the first part of it, which I thought was a very salient points, Mary, and then I'm going to summarize pretty much the rest. Okay?
Okay.
She said, I'm not sure if you are set on your opinion, Blake, or you really want to understand. So I will throw a few thoughts down on my reaction to the finale. She said, first, Remember, and you know this is true because you have said this yourself, a good season finale should accomplish a few things. A, one part of the finale is tying up loose ends. An earlier problem is solved, an arc or journey meets its destination, etc. And it results in suspense and action that feels conclusive while it propels it into the next season. In the process, the viewer is entertained and their desire for some answers is fulfilled, making them want more. B, character. Main or key characters' relationships should show some arc or journey that leaves them changed or shows growth that has some satisfaction as they shift into a new phase of life, leaving them more developed or changed through their experiences of that season. We see this in all 4 storylines. Newly introduced characters, in this case the Hunters, adult William, the Pocock sisters, should have been fleshed and understood and experience a change to drive continued interest in their journey, unless that change is death, which then impacts other characters' journeys, i.e. Jane's death and its effect on William, Fanny, and the Frasers into the next season. All of these characters mentioned above fit this perfectly. And C, the introduction of a new plot point or twist in knowledge or circumstance in the finale propels it into the next season, where it can be elaborated on, discoveries made, and questions answered. And the rest I will summarize. The major twist in the final minutes, Faith and Fanny's lineage, is not the climax of the season, but the setup for the next one. Viewers struggling with this twist might be expecting a season-long build-up, but it functions as a new mystery that will unfold in the upcoming episodes, much like other significant revelations in past seasons. Another challenge for some viewers is that the show's handling of the supernatural elements that are intrinsic to the books but have been downplayed until now. Themes of fate, unknown family ties, and mystical connections have been subtly woven throughout Season 7, from Jamie's dream-walking abilities to Claire's healing powers and Roger's supernatural instincts. The storylines surrounding Faith, Fanny, and Jane align with the book's slow-burning mysteries, but due to time constraints, the show must accelerate these reveals. Though these elements may feel sudden, they have been building in the background all season, preparing for a major exploration in the final installment. The adaptation must balance faithfulness to Diana Gabaldon's unfolding mysteries with the necessity of delivering satisfying television storytelling within limited episodes. Angela, you've brought up, I think, very salient points, very that I think are germane to the conversation that we're having and to the episode itself. Are there some instances that are true to what you said for this finale? Absolutely. I think that some storylines were wrapped up. I think some characters are changed. I think some characters' relationships help inform decisions that are made, and then how those decisions will play out the next season. By the way, I'm also not against a cliffhanger season finale. I'm not against bringing up something weird and crazy and just being like, this is what we're doing, as long as it is part of a developing storyline within that episode. Unfortunately, for this episode, and this is where I disagree with you, I do not think Jamie dreamwalking or Roger's supernatural instincts, which, by the way, I don't think there are, in the show, and just because something is done in the book, or there is a theme of this magic in the book, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that the show is doing it, and I shouldn't have to have the homework of reading the book in order to appreciate the show, right? For example, Mary, I'm not sure if you remember it, but do you remember the episode, I think it was the season 3 finale, or maybe season 2 finale of Sherlock?
No.
There was a big cliffhanger at the end.
Was it by a pool?
No.
Then no.
No. There was a big cliffhanger at the end of Sherlock that season. Maybe it was season 3, where Sherlock dies. Right? But the episode ends with him alive. And you're like, wait, whoa, how the hell did that happen? And you went into the next season being like, what? What happened? Sherlock died. Like, we saw it. That was built up for an entire episode. Like, it was crafted that way. And it was the season was going to end up with Sherlock's death no matter what. So they earned that twist because the character of Sherlock is smarter than all of us, right? If someone was going to survive this thing where he clearly died, it would be Sherlock because that's who he is. This thing with Faith doesn't feel like that. It feels like this is here because it's here. We wanted it to be here. So that's my thought. Mary, your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about Sherlock now.
I think we might have to revisit Sherlock, Mary. I love that series.
Well, you just spoiled it for me.
No, you watched it with me, Marvin. We watched the whole thing together.
Obviously, I was asleep during that episode.
All right, let's get to the next one. Here we go.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Lisa from Little Rhodey.
All right.
Hi. I'd like to give this last...
Hold on.
Have we met you, Lisa? Makes me want to shout.
All right, Rhodey Pride. Yes. Wonder where she lives in Rhodey. Rhodey's a village, too. Let's see. I don't know.
Episode 4.85 kilts. My good was seeing Bree and Roger reunited. Of course, the kids and the group hug with Buck in front of Lollybrock just was a great way to start the episode and warmed my heart. My bad, however, was Bree's conversation with her grandfather. I get it, but, she couldn't really reveal much, but it was a little lackluster and fell flat for me. I just felt myself wanting more emotion. And my great was all things Faith. I know, I've been reading posts and whatnot, a little far-fetched, but I love that I didn't expect that. In this day and age, it's hard to get surprised sometimes by things, and that was just really interesting to me, and it made me think. I love how Claire was wearing that blue shawl, and that shot from the back where she opened the shutters that were also blue, looking up, was foreshadow and flashback all at once. Flashing back to Master Raymond talking about the blue surrounding Claire, and the healing, and then the foreshadow of the Faith storyline at the end. Just majestic.
Lisa, thank you so much. Thank you for using foreshadowing correctly. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is that people don't do that. And she did. You want to know why? It's because she's from Rhodey. She gets it.
Do I say it right? I say it right.
No, I think you understand the meaning of foreshadowing. No, I think you do.
Okay.
We've talked about it, I think, plenty of times on our podcasts. Yeah. So I'm just glad that either she knows it inherently because she's from Rhodey, or she's listened to us and she understands the difference between foreshadowing or payoff. Big difference. I'm so glad that you did. You just made my day. Made my day, Lisa. Thank you. Oh, of course, my computer's doing that thing. Here we go.
Hey, Mary and Blake, it's Mo from Seattle. I haven't called in a while, and I don't have anything especially, insightful or intelligent to add about this episode.
That's
I'm
okay.
sure the other listeners will take care of that But I just wanted to say, I thought it was a huge missed opportunity that not once this season did we get a scene of Lord John Grey walking across the frosty moor like Mr. Darcy coming to Elizabeth. I mean, it was right there in front of us. We could have had the scene. We would have all been happy to spend, 20 seconds of screen time on that, but we didn't do it. So in the words of Blake, what are we doing here? That's all. That's all I had to say.
Mary, take it away.
Mo, yes. And I love that she's like, I don't even need to get to the nitty gritty. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody else
This is what we needed. Yes, we did. Mo. Oh, now that's going to live in my head.
That'll be your headcanon from now on. How's that sound?
It will.
Yeah.
With an eye patch.
I think it'd be even sexier with
That's
the eye
what I'm
patch.
saying.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
No, Mo, thank you. I'm going to have a good dreams tonight.
All right, we got... Hey, calm down.
All he's going to do is wink.
No, he's going to blink. That's what he's going to do. All right, we got some emails. This one comes from Amory. She says, hi, she says, hi, Mary and Blake. It's Amory. You haven't heard from me since 2018.
What?
When I sent a voicemail in for listener feedback. Back then, I was living in France and had only been to New England a couple of times, and now we're basically neighbors.
What?
Because now I live in Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Stop it.
Tiverton, Rhode Island, so I am an East Bayer.
That's where my Pilgrim relatives settled.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, we have like family graves in Tiverton, and we were like high up people in Tiverton. But yeah, my Pilgrim great-great-grandparents, that's where they ended up.
She says, I think I remember y'all on the west side of the bay. Do we have bay beef now? If you ever do another Outlander event, I am
Oh my God,
there.
I'm so excited.
You know she's going to say something.
We don't have bay beef.
We don't have bay beef.
Don't worry.
Because you know what? Technically, I love the East Bay. If I could move to the East Bay, that feels like home to me.
But now the bridge is a problem. For those of you who don't know, we've got a lot of bridges because Rhode Island's the ocean state, and the main bridge that connects the East Bay to the West Bay is broken.
Literally, they had to send out an emergency alert on all of our phones. This actually happened.
The week before Christmas.
That the bridge that connects the East Bay and the West Bay was going to collapse if people kept driving on it. It was
not safe, man.
Stop driving on this bridge immediately. If you have not yet got on it, stop. And this is a major artery. It was wild. Anyway, she says, my feedback for the show. As a show watcher, I've been frustrated because it has felt like the show is being written for book readers instead of prioritizing a good standalone show. By sticking too closely to the books, it's made the show feel like a play to me, with so much plot set up just to hit story beats.
Someone else said it felt like a play earlier. It was you?
It was me. That don't really land for us show-only folks. I love Outlander, but Season 7 really lost me because I don't care or buy into all the historical cameos and revolutionary stuff. I want to see these characters finally grapple with time travel in a meaningful way. I've been wanting that ever since the show left behind the gritty, magical realism of Season 1 that made me fall in love with it to begin with. I loved the Roger storyline this season until they completely dropped it. I think, for the record, that Roger did save his dad, and that he now has the memory of going through the Blitz with his dad, not just his mom, but then they both died in the Blitz anyway. So his fate effectively remains the same. So your talk of the missing magic last week is what brought comfort to my ears for a good Season 8. It's just too bad poor William had to bang his niece so we can finally get some magic. I'm totally out on the faith cliffhanger with you, Blake. I want to be positive about it, but I'm scared that they're not going to be able to land that plane. I just hope, like you said, that by the end of Season 8, it feels like we've watched a show with a clear vision, and they finally tie all the mystery that they've hinted at over the years, but never fully landed. Amory in Tiverton, of all places. See
gosh, I
you
love it.
next year. P.S. I think a show about the plots and relevant details differ or provide extra background between the books and the show with spoilers would be fascinating. Like a separate podcast that you would do because you're a show watcher and I'm sorry, a book reader and the differences that the book has from the show.
Very cool.
So that's a cool idea. Mary, obviously, Amory said the really cool, great stuff because clearly she's from Rhode Island and we get it. But do you think, Mary, that what Amory posits, rather, that the show is being written for book readers instead of prioritizing a good standalone show? That accurate?
I don't know. You're the show watcher.
I would say I agree with her.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're putting things in because, the book did it, so we got to put it in. And who cares how we get there?
Faith thing.
No, I agree. But I'm saying that the execution of, like we talked about Captain Reynolds and we talked about the other jabroni who was the stepbrother, whatever. Like they're in there because they're there. Because the book had them. Like, who cares, like, how we get there, or if we've earned this, or if we've taken any time to lay any of this out. We got to get it in. I agree with her. But I just coming from your perspective as a book reader, I wanted to know your thought about if it, like, honestly, do you have to read the books as homework in order to appreciate what's going on in the show?
I don't think you do.
Do you think they're prioritizing the book readers as opposed to writing their own story?
I don't think so because so many of you still watch the show who aren't book readers.
That's fair.
So I don't think that they're prioritizing the book readers.
Okay, fair.
Otherwise, I think people would have stopped watching.
Fair.
Hello, guys. This is Blanca from Mexico, living in Scotland. I'm just dropping you a message regarding the season finale for Outlander. I'll give it a 5. I really liked it. It was very emotional. It was also a shock to find out that we have some sort of weird Game of Thrones situation between William and his niece, I want to say. Obviously, we'll have to stay tuned for that one. I loved how Master Raymond was in. That was one of the loose ends that I was wondering about. And I really liked how they tied up everything together in a bow. You know, everyone going back to the ridge, how the family was back together in 1739 with Roger and everyone else. I was a bit thinking about Jamie and what would the army say, but apparently they didn't say anything, so that was a good one.
Yep.
So now I'm just waiting on the next season. And thank you very much. And also the new one, Blood of My Blood in the Summer. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Blanca. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Jamie and the army and could that be a thing?
Interesting.
Maybe it'll be something that happens in the next season. We'll see what happens. Let's do the next one.
Hi, Mary and Blockade. This is Andrea calling from Portland, Oregon for 100,000 Angels. And wow, can I just say wow? What an episode. Giving this finale 5.
Andrea, you can say whatever you want, however many times that you'd like, because your voice is so soothing. All right, let's get back to Andrea.
Kilts. I would give it a 5+, but holding that ranking for Dragonfly and Amber. But it sure is close. I can't even choose what to spotlight. My good, every scene with Jamie helping Claire heal. My great, I need to take a moment for Jane, one of the best characters in Outlander history, and the ripple effect it all had with William and Jamie's relationship. My best. Everything with Fanny, Faith, and Master Raymond. My head is spiraling, trying to put together what might have happened with Master Raymond and Faith, and I need to hear Blake's Outlander theories because he's usually 99% correct, just so I could put my mind at ease. I also loved how they played the Seaside song for the credits. Brilliant choice. And the last thought, but I thought it was so poetic that Jamie had never seen Faith and Claire only saw her dead, juxtaposed against Claire never seeing Jane and Jamie only seeing her dead, if they are indeed related. My heart is breaking on every front. Also, I did have a chuckle with Jamie's response to Claire when she asked him if he saw anyone during the night. It reminded me of Harry Potter on Felix Felicis when he just had a very dazed no. Thank you and Mary Blake for a wonderful season. Outlander's upon us, but looking forward to the finale season. Take care.
All right, Andrea. And Andrea, this is for you.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Thank you very much for that. Anytime I think of Felix Felicis, I think of Sir.
But Sir.
I think Jane is one of the better aspects of this season. I loved her as a character, and I think that her story, as it was portrayed by the actress and how it was written, was perfectly executed. And I like it because it gives us a real sense of William's psyche and how that will inform his decisions that he makes later on. The choices that he made resulted in choices that were made by Jane. And that resulted in an outcome. Like, see, that is how things are built up. Like, it was perfect. And I really like the relationship shared between the two. It felt earned. It felt right. I think that's why I liked that character so much.
Yeah.
Because that relationship was interesting. Okay.
Hey, Mary and Blake. This is Erica from New York. I'm calling to give my feedback on the Outlander season finale.
All right, Erica.
I would give this one a 4.7 ranking. My good. Even though it was so sad, poor Rollo's death and Ian's reaction to it, I think the acting there was just spot on, very realistic. My bad. I think that there could have been a little bit more restraint shown on the part of the writers/directors. I think personally there are a few moments specifically with the ending where we could have cut away sooner or maybe taken out some things.
Okay.
I just think it was leading the horse to water a little bit too much. I think if we cut away right at the flashback, it would have been more effective. My great, though, is the ending, that last scene. I think all in all, the acting was wonderful. And the twist, though, I'm not sure how that is going to all have happened. I'm looking forward to the next season. It gives us some momentum. It gives us something to look forward to going in. Thank you guys for all that you do, and see you in the next season.
All right, Erica. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Mary and Blake. This is Jen calling from Northern Virginia.
Hello.
About the last episode of 7B, about 100,000 Angels. I would give my kilt rating for this episode. The first 95% of the episode was a 5. The last 5% of this episode was a 2.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
My good, Dr. Denny coming in and healing Claire, doing surgery under her guiding hand was just beautiful. Loved it. Loved all the Dr. Denny stuff. My bad was, of course, the random locket that came out of nowhere.
Yep.
With the random girl that says Faith. And then they just decided, because of the random song, that was Faith that had been rescued from death, I guess. I don't know. Just so bad. But this was HBO, right, Blake? My great was Claire resting after her surgery and waking up after seeing Master Raymond in the dream and seeing a sleeping Jamie and saying, "Have you been here the whole time?" And he says, "Where else would I have been?"
Oh, thank you, Jen. Yes, if this was HBO, I would have words. I would have words. I also love Jen being like, "It's just so bad." Like, if we didn't have this,
it's just pooper.
I would absolutely clip what Jen said and use that moving forward. So, Jen, thank you so much for that. Perfect. Awesome. All right, we got an email from Becky. She says, "Hey, Mary and Blake, this is Becky from Thornton, Colorado. I'm a long-time listener, first-time emailer. I was just rewatching season 7, episode 16, after listening to your podcast about this episode. I noticed in the opening scene where the two sisters are running in the field with the dragonflies, they run into what is assumed their mother's arms. This woman has dark hair. Recall that baby Faith Fraser had red hair. So maybe this is not Faith Fraser at all. Just a thought. Love you guys. I found myself laugh crying while driving down the road listening to you, from Becky.
Aww. Here's a scoop. The song is very interesting, right? Out of all the songs, and yes, some people are saying maybe another time traveler sang this song to Fanny, but like, why that song?
Right. It either has to be Faith or like Faith, or it has to be like a huge coincidence.
Or Master Raymond, something.
That's
like
coincidence.
No,
that's what I'm
'cause
saying.
He would have heard her singing it.
I know, but I'm saying that's coincidence because he says this to one person, he sings it to somebody who then like goes and lives their life. And then it just so happens that that person is named Faith, who just so happens to have these two daughters, who just so happen to run into Claire.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a lot.
That's a lot of coincidence. And I really hope that they don't go down that road, which means that it has to be Faith. And if it is Faith, then
we got a lot of explaining
we got
to
some
do.
splaining to do, Lucy. Some real splaining to do. All right, Marvin, I have to make a producerial call.
Yeah.
Because this episode now is at 2 hours.
That's okay.
I know it's okay. But we have a lot more feedback
Okay, so you just want to start another episode?
to go through. Yeah, I think it'd be fair for the listener, sitting through a 4-hour episode, because I think it's going to be another 2 hours. I don't think that would be fair to the
I can't wait to listen to me cough some more.
I know, right? So I think a smart idea is to have 2 listener feedback episodes,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. Fair enough?
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, then let's close this one out, shall we?
We shall.
Here we go. I think it's also smart, too, because, people have been waiting, like, weeks for this episode, in live time. So I would rather get something out to them now than wait another 2 weeks or whatever for us to get the rest of this done. So I think that's the right choice. But if you have been missing Mary and Blake and you need more of us in your life, we will have another episode for listener feedback. And as a reminder, we will be returning to the Potterverse as soon as this episode is all done. We'll be getting back to, what are we reading now? Order of the Phoenix? Yes, Order of the Phoenix. And I look forward to that because that's my favorite book and my favorite movie of the Harry Potter series. So look for that return as soon as possible. Please go to maryandblake.com, check out all of our podcasts that are there, and read all of the things that we have at maryandblake.com or at jointhenerdclan.com, where you can see all of our knee-jerk reactions to shows that we are watching or movies that we are taking in, and get early access to episodes and a whole bunch of other great things that are happening over there. Look forward to that. I don't know. That's it. Marvin, you got anything that you want to say to our listeners as we're closing this out?
I'm just surprised because I thought I was sitting here for a little longer. So I'll be back, hopefully not coughing as much very soon.
Wait, what? You were sitting here not as longer?
Well, I expected I'd be sitting here for another couple hours.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. 2-hour episodes are they're behemoths. Let's let everybody catch up and listen to it and, whatevs.
My name's Mary.
My name is Blake.
And you've been listening to Outlander Cast. Slanja.
There you go. Awesome. Good job.